everyone, and welcome to episode 136 of the Dear Herbalist Podcast, titled Foundations of Winter Wellness for Kids. If you are new here, you are most certainly welcome. And if you're a returning listener, I appreciate your continued support. You know, you guys are always welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Now, before we get started into tonight's podcast, I have a very big announcement. If you have been following me on social media, you already know. But for those that don't, please follow me on social media, y'all. Let me just have that caveat. Please follow me. I promise you, you will have all kinds of recipes and information and all kind of good stuff there on my Facebook, on my Instagram. I'm just getting into X, so please bear with me on that one. I try to tweet as much as I can. But I'm really strong on Facebook and Instagram. So please follow me there. And I'm also working on building my presence on other social media platforms, trying to hit all the angles, y'all. But for tonight, I want to announce that I have my website up. My website is up, y'all. And let me tell you what you can find really quickly on my website. My website is packed. When I say packed over hundreds of different remedies for a variety of different things. No matter if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're an animal, if you're a kid, if you're a senior, it doesn't matter what you are. Check out my website. There's a lot of information on there. If you are a new herbalist looking to learn, I have a lot of information on there for you to help you go through these beginning phases of herbal medicine. If you are a seasoned herbalist, a community herbalist, a millennial herbalist, and you really want to get out there and hit the ground running and get started with herbal medicine, there is a lot of information on there for you. I do have my store, but the big part of what I'm trying to do is really give the information and educate. So this website here, www.thedemystifiedherbalist.com. Check it out. There's a lot of information on there, and hit me back on social media. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so let's get into tonight's episode. And thank you in advance. Tonight, we are going to talk about, as promised, foundations of winter wellness for children. We're going to break down the pillars of prevention, which are nutrition, sleep, movement, and hydration. And then I'm going to add a little herbal twist and give you some recipes that the entire family can enjoy. And then I'll talk about simple routines that are going to make a big difference in keeping your kids happy and healthy all season long. They don't have to sit and chug down a big cup of very bitter tea. Okay. So let's talk about nutrition first. Now, the foundation of children's winter health really is what is on their plate. So you want to look at getting bright, colorful fruits and vegetables loaded with antioxidants. Think berries, oranges, carrots, sweet potatoes. All right. Also vegetables. So broccoli is really good. I know some kids don't really care for broccoli, but broccoli, you want to get some greens on their plate. That chlorophyll is very important as well. Another thing is that you want to make warming soups and stews with garlic, onions, and greens. Garlic and onions help fight germs. It's another way to be able to give. They're like, I don't like garlic, I don't like onions. Well, if you kind of stew the soup with the garlic and onions, they can kind of eat the broth and then still get it anyway. And then leafy greens provide key nutrients for growing bodies. So even if you want to kind of chop all that stuff up and put it in a crock pot and kind of let it simmer and that type of stuff, that'll really get you some good warming soup. Again, garlic, onions, and greens. And then another thing is healthy fats. They are like fuel for their brains as well as their immune system. So adding in avocado, olive oil, nut butters, or even a sprinkle of seeds to the meals that they might eat or snacks, that will also help as well. And encouraging your children to eat the rainbow. So let them pick their own fruits and veggies at the store, because giving them a sense of ownership really makes healthy eating fun. Even if it seems like, well, they keep going to the grapes or they keep going here and there. It's like, okay, we're going to pick one piece of fruit from each color of the rainbow. And that's going to be the snack that you have, for the week. However you want to do that. With kids, kids are pretty simple. They just want to, is it exciting? Is it fun? That kind of stuff. So add that little bit of excitement. If you make it daunting, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to want to do it. And neither really are adults, right? We're like that as well. Not saying it's got to be fun all the time. We understand the boundaries of that, but if it seems daunting, a daunting task, our brain wants to reject it. So with kids, just make it fun. Next thing is sleep and rest. Now, sleep and rest is very important, especially if you have a child that may have an onset of a cold or something like that. I always tell parents, if your child comes down with any type of a cold or illness, it is very important you prioritize sleep and rest. And that does not include giving them the iPad, letting them sit in their bed with, all that information and data going into their brain. The body is really not resting at that point. So they need to rest. Now, let's say they've had a nice little long rest and they want to get up, maybe give them a little book or something to kind of just allow the body to be able to only focus on putting its energies into helping the body get better. That's what I'm trying to say. So think about those things. But rest is very essential for a strong immune system, as well as balancing out their mood. So keep a regular bedtime routine, even during the winter holidays. Incorporate calming rituals like reading, a warm bath, dimming the lights. These all help the brain. It gives a signal to say, hey, it's time to start winding down and get some rest. Like I said before, avoid screen time at least 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime, as their blue light can interfere with the melatonin as well as quality rest. So if you have a kid, like I said, that's sitting up in their bed and they've got that screen time going on, that blue light is really just, the brain is computing, and it really does interfere with the melatonin and the quality of rest. You have to signal the body that it's time to rest so that it can do everything it needs to do to prepare the body to do that. Okay. And kids really do thrive on routine. It reassures their minds and it allows their body to recharge for the next day. This will also help if your kids are in school. You're not sending grumpy kids to school. Give these teachers a break. Okay. Tell them kids to go to bed. Next thing that's important is movement and play. Winter weather can mean more time inside, but that doesn't mean that they have to stop moving and that they have to stop having fun. So short active play breaks can boost circulation and keep their immune cells active. Indoor activities like silly dancing, hallway obstacle courses, push-ups, sit-ups, these type of things, making it fun. This can all help them get moving and get going. Or put something on TV, some kind of blinky-doo that they can jump around in circles and follow the person on the screen, that type of stuff. But you don't want them to stop moving. You want to continue on so that their circulation can continue to keep it moving. Now, on milder days, it's okay to bundle up and then go outside, get some fresh air. Natural daylight will help regulate their energy and their sleep cycles as well. So don't be afraid to bundle these kids up. Let them go run around and roll out in the snow for a little while. It's not going to kill them. Hydration, this is another pillar. It's very important and it's often overlooked in the winter. People tend to think about hydration a lot during the summertime when people are sweating a lot, running, they're more active. But in the wintertime, it's just as important. So you want to offer plain water throughout the day and sometimes experiment with warm water, right? Warm water, caffeine-free herbal teas like chamomile or rooibos. Both are gentle and nourishing, and they're kid approved. So try that. Brothy soups also help kids get more fluids and extra nutrients. And then when you're thinking about hydration, especially talking to kids, make it fun. If you can, use some colorful cups or let them go get their own mug at the store. Make a tea party out of it. We're going to have different teas that we're going to taste and all that. So again, make it fun, and it'll turn out to be fun for you as well. Sitting there having a cute little tea party, making a hat and all that. That sounds fun. I would do it. So think about that. All right, let's talk about some gentle herbs for kids. Certain herbs, when used carefully, can gently support your children's health in the wintertime. So you want to, when using herbs, keep in mind that you want to introduce one herb at a time. And definitely, if you take your child to a pediatrician, let them know that these are the type of herbs that you're using. Don't try to hide that information. because they need to know, they need to write it down, whether they look at you and roll their eyes or not. That needs to be on your child's file that they're taking certain herbs. So definitely let the pediatrician know, especially if your child has any type of medical conditions or is taking medication. That's the other thing that you have to take in consideration as well. So let's look at some of these gentle herbs, and I'll also give you the recommended dosages for each. We'll start with elderberry. Research supports elderberry's ability to help with the cold and flu symptoms by shortening their duration as well as reducing how severe they are. It's very high in antioxidants and it's delicious as a syrup. And you can use it every single day, just a tablespoon, put it in their mouth, or every few hours if there is an illness. Okay. So for children 2 to 5 years of age, you need about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon twice a day. For kids that are 6 to 12, they can take about 1 to 2 teaspoons twice a day. And always check, if let's say you buy a syrup from somewhere and it's not homemade, always check the product label and adjust based on your child's age, weight, and needs. And even if you do buy it, let's say from a local person, still check it. They should have it labeled per FDA standards and all of that. So check the label and adjust as needed. The next herb is chamomile. Chamomile is very calming and soothing, and the tea is very safe for children. It relieves restlessness, tummy upsets, and it helps them to be able to sleep. So you want to use about 2 to 3 ounces, which is about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of chamomile tea once in the evening. This is really sufficient for children over 1 year of age. And then you can increase it by 1/2 cup per dose for older kids. Next herb is echinacea. This can be used for immune support. It is safe on a short-term basis. So for children that are ages 2 to 5, you want to use about 1.5 teaspoon divided over 2 doses daily. And kids that are 6 to 11, you want to use 2 teaspoons twice a day for up to 10 days at a time. Okay. Some herbs out there, especially the stronger herbs, they're not meant to be used every single day, 365, all of that. Some of them, it's just for that short period of time, an onset of an illness, or fortification from an illness, these type of things. But still, you want to use them for a short period of time. And lastly, rooibos. Now, rooibos tea is naturally caffeine free. It's really rich in antioxidants, and it has a great base for tea parties with kids, because of the beautiful color. So always source your herbs from trusted suppliers and avoid honey, because a lot of people, can I add honey? You can add honey, but they ask, okay, the health powers that be, that you avoid honey for children under 1 year of age. So let me give you a couple of recipes before we head on out here. I'll give you one. It's called a Kiddie calm tea. Okay. And this is for soothing for sleep as well as stomach. So you want to use 1 part chamomile flowers, 1 part lemon balm. Okay. Or you can use catnip or oat tops if that's available. And then 1/2 part orange peel or a little mint. So you want to place 1 to 2 teaspoons of the blend per cup in a teapot. Pour on just boiled water. Steep about 5 to 8 minutes. Strain it and then serve slightly warm. And then you want to offer about 1/4 to 1/2 cup to children up to 1 year and up. Offer 1/4 and 1/2 cup to children 1 year and up before bed. You can sweeten with a tiny bit of maple syrup. Really, I prefer honey if you desire. Okay. And if they're under 1, do not give them honey. The next recipe is a kid-approved elderberry syrup. A lot of people use elderberry syrup. It helps boost the immune system and really support the immune system. And the whole family could actually use this. So what you can do, the ingredients are 1/2 cup of dried elderberries, 3 cups of water, a tablespoon of cinnamon chips or 1 stick, a tablespoon of ginger root chopped, 1 teaspoon of whole cloves, and a cup of local honey. Okay. Or if you're making this recipe for kids under a year, you can use maple syrup. What you want to do is bring the elderberries, water, cinnamon, ginger, and cloves to a boil and simmer for about 45 minutes. Then you want to cool it, strain, and stir in your honey and store in the fridge for up to 3 whole months. So that's the cool thing. Now, the dosage that you want to do is about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon a day for ages 2 through 5. 1 to 2 teaspoons a day for ages 6 through 12. And this is especially during the cold and flu season. So whether your kids go to any type of a school, homeschool group, or whatever it is, you definitely want to make sure that you make some of that and have that on hand. So, in closing, supporting kids' winter wellness is all about the basics: vibrant nutrition, solid sleep, fun movement, good hydration, and gentle time-tested herbs. Try the homemade elderberry syrup. If you want a nice little immune boost, go ahead and try those and check them out. Get a plan together. Make sure that your children are all fortified for this winter. And stay tuned for next week's podcast titled Herbal Remedies for Respiratory Wellness, where we will talk about the respiratory system, what happens when things get out of whack, and how you can use herbs, especially during this time and this season of the winter that eventually will be coming up at some point. What you can do to address those common respiratory system issues in yourself, your children, your family, or in your community. So, if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. And until next time, family, I'm out.